Well, Dan, aren't you happy you found the video yesterday? Because you and the other Dans, probably the only people happy with me today, because you showed up, you were looking for one regular Dan bet to take to your local sports book, and you went with your ticket and said, "Hi, sir, I would like one ticket for the over 6 in the Vancouver Canucks New York Islanders game." You cash your ticket, you bet a regular amount, and now you have a regular amount of winnings in your regular pocket. So good for you. But the Pirates, oh, they're not happy. They're looking for me on their boats, like in Captain Phillips. And I'm like Tom Hanks. Uh-oh, here they come for me, because there weren't great picks outside of that one. Yeah, we hit the both teams to score 2+, both of those. And I know the OG parlayers, you guys always comment, "Give me the teams to score 2+, give me the teams to score 2+. And those were good. But the sniff was a little dry with the Buffalo Sabres. The under 6.5 with the Bruins was no. Those don't bother me. The one that bothers me is the one that I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, what's wrong with me? The Kings have one of the best defensive teams in the league. So whether they're struggling, not struggling, usually I know to stay away from that. And then the Lightning, although they do engage in back and forth, and that game was a back and forth, and it could have went over, still. One team has Vasilevsky, the other team plays good defense. I should have never messed with that. So for that one,
sorry.
But if you're a Dan, I guess it was a good day for you. We're on to Wednesday here. It's only a 3-game slate, and there's one marquee matchup on this slate. Everybody, you know what it is. You're looking at it. It's the Philadelphia Flyers and it is the Colorado Avalanche hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. These are two of the best teams in the West. The last 2 Stanley Cup champs. They've played once this year, and it was an absolute massacre of the Avalanche. 7-0 beating. Where was it? It was in Vegas. This one's in Colorado, where I told you they've never been held to fewer than 2 goals in a single home game this season, unless I'm just forgetting something, unless I didn't browse all the way back. But I'm nearly certain that's the case. And last game, that was the case once again. You know about McKinnon's home point streak, which is just absurd at this point. He's the front runner for the Hart Trophy at the moment. So how's this one going to play out? Because if you look before the last game was 7-0. Every single matchup between these two teams since they met in the playoffs a couple years ago has gone under 6.5. Every last one of them. You know, you think when these two teams would get together, like, oh, it's got to be some back and forth, right? There's so much talent on the ice. Quite the contrary. Ever since that playoff series, it looks like they keep nudging each other for, supremacy to claim who's better. Who is the better team between the last 2 Cup champs, especially after that crazy playoff series? Now, one thing that I found interesting, obviously, I don't give final scores throughout the season. If I take a calculated crack at a final score, you guys know when that is. That's in a closeout playoff, a game 6, a game 7, when we know the assortment of scores. It's almost always the same score. You know, you're holding on a 2-1 or a 3-1 lead in the third, then you can try to bet 3-1 or 4-1 with that empty netter. There are many calculated final score sniffs you could take. The Vasilevsky closeout games, where the max he's ever letting in is 1. So yeah, we can do it then. But during the regular season, we never really do that. I do find it interesting how many games between these two teams end up 3-2. It's absurd. I don't want to be like that guy walking by a roulette board, like, oh, a bunch of 24s came out today. But other than that, I do think this has the opportunity to be a 3-2 final. These two teams, when you get like one of the best versus the best and the gloves kind of come off, I don't like veering towards ruckus. Ruckus is between two teams who don't give a rat's you-know-what. I'll say it, a rat's ass. But when you get these intense games, not too dissimilar from Tampa, the Kings, that ended 3-2. If the game goes that way, very intense, low scoring, maybe like 1 or 2 power plays max for both sides, I can see this ending up 3-2. 3-2 who? I don't know. Throw a couple shekels on both sides. If you're betting on a Colorado game, just know you're sweating. But as I like to tell you guys, I don't believe you pay to win money. I believe you pay to enjoy the thrills. And Colorado's going to give you them thrills. I will guarantee you that. They'll fall down 2-0, score 2 immediately, and then give up 1 in the following minute, and then have to fight to come back. It's a wild experience when you're dealing with Colorado. And while they haven't been defending well at all, and they have been scoring at home, and these games have been going over, I hate to say I'm a little scared. I'm scared to go over 6.5 in a game that has the potential to be as intense as this one might be. But I still will go with the both teams to score 2+ for the OGs who love betting that. But there's only 3 games on the slate, so what am I going to pair that with? Just hold that thought for a second while I talk about the Avalanche. I know a lot of you guys like betting the Avalanche. It's an exciting team to bet on when they're at home. We got McKinnon, we got Rantanen, and I kind of agree with you, especially when you consider what happened to them in Vegas. You know they're going to want to rectify that. But for me, I need to know that William Karlsson isn't playing. He's a great defensive center, and he will help do a decent job on that top Avalanche line. They'll try to get him matched up as much as they can, and he's such a good player, an undervalued player. If he's out of this game, I will take Colorado on the money line against the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, Vegas, before that last win against the Islanders, I mean, that's nothing really to write home about. They actually were struggling. Still no Shea Theodore, and they have been missing William Karlsson, so they are shorthanded. They're missing some of their defensemen. I think they're missing another defenseman or two outside of Shea Theodore. So they are shorthanded. This Avalanche team, they're able to score. They beat the Bruins in the last game in a shootout. So if there's no Karlsson, I'll take the Colorado Avalanche money line. If Karlsson plays, I'm going to pull the ripcord and do the coward's way out. I will take the Avalanche. Tie no bet. Meaning if the game goes to overtime, I get my money back. I don't want to do that kind of sweat. I'm going to go tie no bet if Karlsson plays. And how are you going to know if he plays? I don't know. You can check. You can check and see if he's active and if he's going to be in the lineup. And, you know, I will update that on the Patreon as well for all you people who are on there. So don't worry about that. 2 games outside of that. I just told you to hold the thought. What am I pairing that 2+ goals with? I'm going to go with your favorite star, not mine. I'm a Rupe guy, but you're a Robertson guy. You take Jason Robertson and both teams to score 2+ in that Colorado game. That's going to wiggle you to plus money. That's not a bad 2-game parlay. Haven't really ripped that in a while. Just want to make sure the vocal cords are still there. But in that game, I know you guys might be thinking, wait, is Andy going to pull out his home and home theories and what he's going to do? I'm actually pulling out a different one of my other rules, and that is after a team throws a shutout or gets shut out, I like the under in the following game, especially if that under is 6.5. I feel like after a team throws a shutout, if they're playing good defense for whatever reason, they move it to 6. But we're getting 6.5 here. Now, you got to think about this. The fake Matt Murray, I like saying that. The fake Matt Murray came out and had a shutout in his first game. Assuming he starts, you have to make sure he starts. If they go back to Wedgwood, throw this all out the window. None of this counts. But I would imagine after a kid pitches a shutout, they're going to want to get him back in there, especially on their own home ice. But after a guy throws a shutout and plays that next game, I like going under 6.5. So I will take the under 6.5. And now just think about this. They're playing the same team he just shut out. He has a shutout streak against that team. You think the Dallas Stars aren't cognizant of that? You think they aren't aware that this kid hasn't let up an NHL goal yet, and they'll be doing what they can to make things easy for him and keep that streak going? I always believe that they are, because if you're a normal human being and you're playing hockey and you're on the ice, you are cognizant of that. If you're a defenseman and you're about to pinch to make it a 3-on-1 and you know you're going to leave yourself vulnerable on the back end, I believe you don't make that pinch in situations like this. You can call it crazy, but the next time you get to talk to an NHLer, they're being honest with you in the back room, ask them if they're aware of when a goalie is running a shutout streak out there. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I will take the under 6.5 in that one, but make sure you know that Wedgwood ain't playing. Wedgwood's in, I'm out. And then lastly, there's only the Flyers-Montreal game outside of that, and I don't know, something rubs me the wrong way about this one. The only potential lean that I have in this, and it's not even a full lean. It's not like that Chris Hansen lean. You know, you ever see that meme where he comes off the page to look at you like you're a predator? I have a slight lean, like somebody who's wearing uneven shoes, towards the under 6.5. The bump it up under 6.5. And we can add that to the glossary. A bump it up under is when it's listed at 6. We don't want to push. We feel way more comfortable getting it at 6.5. So don't you know, bump it up. We bump it up to under 6.5. I believe this one's listed at 6. We will try to get it at 6.5. Just in case it's a 3-2 game and we clear the empty netter. We don't want to, it's weird. I don't mind pushing on overs. I despise pushing on unders. I'll have to look into that. But in the meantime, good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel here. Tomorrow we'll have a much bigger slate. And I'm going to be doing my live on the Patreon. Do a live stream and you can just watch me watching games and talking to you. I'll do my best. Chris Hansen, I've criticized him so many times. Now I'm going to be put in his position, and let's see if I can pull it off. And one thing I want to mention yesterday, I know I said in the video, like, oh, I'm just sitting here in a green room. The green is on that side. This is a real set. I already got up a couple weeks ago and turned on that Beetlejuice. You going to make me do it? No, you just go back and watch one of the old videos. It's a real set. I built it. What do you think? That's a virtual $1 million belt from Ted DiBiase, who brought out the fake Undertaker like Dallas brought out the fake Matt Murray? No, it's real, just like the Magic and the Prestige. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck.
You sure about that?